next years are going to see a very strong wave of design created by optimistic, young, and creative, ambitious designers.
This is Unplugged, a series of conversations with creative minds from the design industry and beyond, hosted by H&H.
Buongiorno and welcome to another episode of H&H Unplugged. We have the pleasure of being connected to New York today to speak for an interesting conversation with Mr. Adam Tihany, founder and principal, and Alessia Genova, managing partner of Tihany Design. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Alessia. Thank you for being with us. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Matteo. We're doing great.
Ciao, Matteo. Doing good here. How are you?
Sun is shining. It's not that warm, but it's a beautiful day in New York City. So here we are.
Good to know, and thank you again for being with us today. How does the typical quarantine day look like to you? Have you discovered any new passion maybe these days?
Well, I'll start. Well, I'm typically a creature of habit. So I get up very early. I review the work that the designers send and put online. And I talk to sort of my team, predominantly with Alessia, who is really managing the day-to-day operations of working from home. She's the frontline responder, as we call it. You know, we follow the details, FaceTime with everybody, what we can during the day. So it's not, anything unusual. On a personal level, I try to find at least an hour and a half during the day to take a master class. Actually, my son, Bram, turned me on to this program. It's, you can download the app and you can take master classes with some of the most amazing people on the planet, the most accomplished. So right now, I'm spending a little bit of time with Paul Krugman, who is the Nobel laureate economist. I'm trying to learn a little bit economy and see if I can figure out how this thing is going to end, on which side. But so that's on a personal level. The nights, of course, are dedicated to cooking. I mean, big time. I finally am mastering the art of making brioche because
Wow.
I miss Paris, so I bake brioches all the time. So we have enough for the whole neighborhood here. So,
Ale, did you discover any new passion?
As Adam, I also have my daily routine, which I try to don't really change it. I had to adapt it, of course, during this time. So, I usually wake up morning early, and I do like to exercise just to start the day. And now, I had to turn my living room in a kind of fitness place, gym, which is probably going to stay forever like this, I think. But then I always try to, get ready every morning if I have to go to the office, the same. And then at 9 o'clock, actually, we meet. When I say we, I meet with the team, with the entire office on Zoom. And I have to be honest, I think this actually is becoming the favorite moment of the day, because we are a small team. We are we are not such a big team, so it's easy to everyone share their private moment, whatever you did the night before, or early in the morning, or a joke or something. So it's becoming a moment that I use to kind of connect, in a personal level. I also obviously discuss some of the schedule for the day, because managing an office from home is a bit different. But is a very nice moment, because every morning before we leave for to work on our routine from home, we always share a quote, and it's something that everyone each morning everyone share a different quote. It's something that is personal, is something that is just uplifting, positive, just to start on with the right foot every morning. And also in the evening we always close the day on the same way. We meet again at 5:15, 5:30 for 15 minutes, and we just take a moment again to regroup. So this is kind of something that I'm discovering because it's totally new. Before we used to go to the office, but we don't meet every morning. We just say hi, and then you meet one to one, not like as a group. So that is definitely something new as a team. And personally, well, as Adam, and I think as everyone else, I'm trying to spend some more time on the kitchen because I do love cooking. But in New York, it's basically impossible to find the time or to be at home in the evening. You're always somewhere. So I'm enjoying that. And I'm watching a little bit of TV, which is not something that usually I do, but I do like documentaries. So I'm starting to watch some of them. And I watched one like a few days ago, which is amazing. I highly recommend it. As Inside Bill's Brain, Decoding Bill Gates. It's absolutely like interesting.
Yeah,
so,
like 3 episodes, right?
Yes, 3 episodes, 1 hour each. I mean, it is in this time, then I really, really like, I loved it, enjoy. I think is a must to watch. Yeah.
We know that you both travel often far. How the fact that now you're stuck at home has changed your perspective on time and travel?
This is really the longest that I've been in one place without traveling. I mean, we've been working from home since March 12th. Reflecting back, how much time we spend on, not on travel, but just even on preparation for travel. Booking flights, discussing prices with airlines, negotiating this, stopovers, hotel booking, restaurants, where we go. Then, this incredible amount of time that you spend totally stressed out at airports, trying to go through any airport, and then sometimes it's twice a day. So I'm sort of enjoying the extra hours and days that I actually have, that I don't have to be completely immersed in the business of travel and moving from one place to the next and what it takes. So, more time, more productivity for me. I'm perfectly happy with this.
Yeah.
Ale, you?
Well, I mean, I have to be honest. I don't travel as much as Adam. It's very hard to match his schedule, not that you want to. But yes, definitely, stay on the same place, actually in the same room, like for so long is changing the perspective of time. Although I think my calendar is not much like lighter, because I can see like every day 2 or 3 like Zoom call, team call, house party call, video call, phone call, whatever. So it's pretty busy. But I think that we will value maybe the time differently. We will spend and decide how to manage our time very differently after this. And for now, I think I'm just, again, if I have some extra time, I'm trying to improve like on things that we never have the time to focus on. And so try to use the best the time that you have, and we will probably not have any longer when we go back to our normal life. So take advantage.
Adam, I have a question for you. We are facing for sure an unexpected challenge. But do you think that our pre-existing cultural and social developments has, in a way or another, allowed us to arrive ready and prepared to this challenge, or have we all completely caught off guard?
Frankly, I don't think everybody was caught off guard. I mean, a lot of companies have been doing business around the globe regularly, conducting business virtually. So the tools that are at our disposal, as Alessia mentioned before, Zoom, and all of these tools have been used extensively for quite some time. Yeah, I think what really did catch us off guard is not being able to be with our own people physically, which, typically you spend a day in your office with your colleagues, 8-10 hours a day together, face to face. Certain things are so much easier to communicate face to face. And suddenly this lack of human contact and the nuances that you can understand when you deal with people face to face are missing in the way we communicate. And I think, to me, that is the challenge of how do we communicate through this equipment that we're talking about through now and still stay human and understand ourselves a little bit more than just as an image on the screen, you know?
We are talking about digital tools, basically. By now, we understood that distances and geographical boundaries are not keeping us disconnected from the world. But how is it possible to create the same level of empathy with your team on one side, with your clients through a screen?
If I may, I would like to
Sure.
say a quote by one of the greatest artists of all time, Pablo Picasso, who said that computers are useless because all they can give you are answers.
In my opinion, I think that, it's true. These days we have all the technology we need to communicate. Thanks to technology, we were able basically to move an entire office from one physical place to 15 places in probably less than 2 hours, like a couple of weeks ago. So we are not missing the technology and the tools to communicate. But I don't think you can recreate the same empathy that through the screen or through a phone that you have when you have a personal meeting or a face-to-face meeting. Is a little bit like in hospitality, right? When we travel, we go to any place, luxury hotel, and technology today is a great advancement. It creates such like a new feature, but it's not going to replace the great experience that you have with the service. So I don't think that you can really replace it. But in these days, so I think that we can show our empathy anyway in different ways. We can take some action to support by sharing and supporting a lot of cause. So we can show our empathy not through a screen, but with action and with our behavior and in an emotional level, like staying connected to our client, to our team. Family and friends. So we have to use different tools, I think, than just like the technology.
Yeah, I agree. And you said also before something very interesting, that these days that you're meeting with your team through technological devices, it's keeping connecting yourself, and in a way or another, this distance is making you, as far as I understood, maybe a little bit more emotional than with a more empathic connection with your team in this case than being physically in the office together.
Yes, that's true. It creates it's different, you basically, I think that in these days you are discovering more of a personal level of a person, like of the team, of the client, also because even right now we are having this call, and I never invite you to my place, but you're seeing my place. I think you necessarily go to a personal and private level. So.
Absolutely. We know that Tihany Design, you work on both scale, product design and interior design, therefore architecture. Which one do you think will be more affected or influenced by this challenging time that we are living? The product design level or the architecture interior design?
I think that, when we talk about design, we talk about a process of envisioning and planning, as you said, a space, a building, an object, transportation, anything that is user-centered. And in our opinion, functionality comes before than aesthetic, right? So it's the user that becomes the focus of the design process and the thinking process. So whenever you design something, it is about creating a solution for people to respond to their needs. And the needs are different, under different level, different circumstances. So I think that design will be touched on the different level and any scale. The object, the building. Adam, what?
I'm looking at this moment as a moment that will change history. the arts in general as a big subject, and that will include architecture, interior design, furniture, all kinds of art, poetry, music, so on and so forth. The arts in a broader sense tends to be particularly strong and active during moments of crisis. Through the history, they can be a great call for action, for change. Our priorities are being reorganized as we speak. How would your workplace look like, the new workplace, once this thing is over? How would your home look like? How would your favorite bar or restaurant look like and feel? What would be the priorities? Is it going to be safety, comfort, convenience? One thing is for sure, the next years are going to see a very strong wave of design created by optimistic, young, and creative, ambitious designers. Whether it is the architecture, interiors, furniture, it's all through the arts. It's definitely going to get a huge boost.
You mentioned that things will change, and this moment is like an historical moment. Another historical moment was after Second World War, 70 years ago, and great innovations, products come to my mind. Vespa came out from that turning point for the world.
Not just the Vespa, there's a lot of other stuff.
This one, being Italian, that one came to my mind first. Do you think that we are living through a turning point as much as it was 70 years ago, or we won't reach that level?
I do think we're living in a turning point. It's a different kind of turning point. First of all, in a very, very short time, this thing became global. You know, the Second World War was a process. It was not global at the beginning. At the end, obviously, because of its ramification and economic ruin, it became global. But this started as a global crisis. So everybody is affected. You know, where I come from, there is a say that everybody's problem is half a consolation. So, you know, it's not just you. It happens to everybody, but we're all in this together. We're all had been gotten the proverbial batosta in the head. We have to change our standards. We have to change the way we look at global economy. We have to change, healthcare system in the world. These are long problems that just come to the surface in very, very short time and in a very concentrated manner. So untangling this is not a simple proposition, because right now, frankly, we're all in shock. We're all in shock. We're afraid of everything at the moment. We're not ready to take our destiny and move to the next place. But when we do, we're definitely going to have a different outlook on life. And especially in this age of technology, where everybody knows everything and everybody is connected, the small fire becomes a huge fire in very short time, and hopefully in a positive way.
Ale, I want to ask you something which is a bit more related specifically about your business, the job you do. Talking about turning point and changes. We saw a time when hotels, they used to be designed like houses. Then lately the trend was to get your house designed like a hotel. Do you think that this trend will reverse, given that we are spending way more time now into our houses, and social and private life now is pivoting on that?
I don't think the trend will necessarily reverse, right? I mean, yes, it's true. We saw the time where, you want to design the hotel as a home and vice versa. But as I said before, in my opinion, design is a process that goes to respond to certain needs. And I think that after this period, our needs will probably change. So everyone will have new desire, for their home or when they travel, and they will have to fulfill different needs when, they decide on which hotel to stay or on choosing their next apartment. So I don't think it's necessarily a reverse. It's more like, I think, what you experience during this time. and what you miss, or what you are like, you realize that is important, that you might not have today, and before you were not missing because it was covered by the fact that you don't need to stay locked in one place. You can go out and you can experience, and vice versa when you travel, right? So I don't know, maybe in the hotel we will see more of private space, not only like on luxury hotel, you know, so even in a different level of hospitality. There will be more VIP lounge, exclusive lounge, that they're not necessarily like for VIP people as we intend today, but it's more because people will want to have more of a private space, or they will feel more comfortable in what before was not really what they wanted. And as well as like for your private house, you know, for your home. Before maybe it was not, it depends also, I think, where you live. Like in my own experience, for example, living in New York, you know, I thought a few months back, maybe I'll move, I'll change for a new apartment. I'll still want to do that probably, but I will probably change maybe what I'm looking, my criteria, you know, like after staying for so long at home, I for sure need like some lights, and I cannot have a garden, but who knows, maybe I will want a little balcony, I don't know, or maybe I will think about a different neighborhood. So I think it will really depends on what you experience and what you feel like you might want for your future, and it becomes important. So as Adam was saying also, you know, it will change our attitude, it will change our priorities, and this is how we will have new needs and new requests, and the designer will have to respond to these new needs and new requests.
We are talking a lot about changes, but what's the core value that no matter what, you are not willing to compromise?
For us, I would say authenticity. Wouldn't you agree, Alessia?
Yeah, I share it. And maybe I think, I don't know if it's a real like value per se, but it's probably more who we are, like is creativity. I don't think we want to turn off our imagination, or, you know, stop to learn, grow, and create it. So I think we will keep that to value for sure.
And Adam, what is the advice that you would give if you had in front of you the young yourself at the beginning of your career?
At this moment?
Yeah.
Listen first and wash your hands for 20 seconds minimum.
Very on the point, very appropriate to the moment.
You know that now I think you used to say count till 10 before say something. I think if you wash your hand for 20 seconds, it's the same, right? It is healthier.
No, because you have to think about the 20 seconds. So it takes time and you don't say anything, which is good. You know, don't say everything. You just come to your mouth. Think about it, listen first, wash your hands for 20 seconds and then speak.
I heard it is the time of singing 2 happy birthday songs in your mind.
Something like that, yeah.
That's the time that you need to watch your.
Well, we actually have 2 birthdays today in our company, so it's very appropriate.
Yeah. Look, we know that both of you are somehow in love with Italy, but Ale, this is your country, and you are living in New York and stuck in New York in this moment. What do you miss the most?
Well, this time of the year, there is one thing that I definitely miss and gonna miss about Italy, which is Salone. I mean, is you see, it's such an important, I think, event for our community, for the design industry, and for everyone. And you know, I think would have happened like next week, sometimes like next week, 21st, 22nd, and would have been the time where I was meeting you and everyone else. So, you know, that's for sure the thing I will miss the most about this year in Italy. Of course, my family, my friends, they're all there, but, you know, with my family, I even talk too much right now. I shouldn't say, but, you know, I have to every day. So before I used to go to the office, at least I had an excuse. Now I'm at home, like, you know, so yeah, that's what I miss. I'm Salone. And I have little tears, you know, like.
So we are close to the end of this interview, and can we wrap it up with one lesson learned so far by this time?
Well, I think it's amazing to see how eager the entire world is to stay connected and to remind each other that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that is always very, very uplifting to me.
Ale?
Well, for me, I think one of the things I learn that in this time is that we are like only as strong as our team. I mean, togetherness, support each other, share the same vision, and it is one of the most important value, and it can change really the perspective and help in this time. So for me, that's for sure something I'm experiencing and learning every day.
And I want to close with a personal question. What would be the first thing that you will do once this quarantine is over?
Oh, for me, it's very easy. I'm going to grab my kids, give them a big, big, big hug, and take them for a spectacular Italian dinner at my friend Francesco Antonucci's restaurant.
Adam, can I come?
Of course,
like I would love to join.
You are family, Alessia.
So first things I'm gonna join Adam and take the hug, and which I miss it because I'm completely by myself here. So and a good meal prepared by someone else, I'll take it. And probably like after that, the first things I'll do if I can still move will be go for a run.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a very interesting conversation, and thank you for being with us. And I do hope really again to see you in Dubai or in Milano very soon. Maybe in occasion.
Or in New York.
Or in New York. Why not in New York? Even though I think that I guess this thing it will be the one lasting longer. The ban from traveling and the problem of traveling and crossing.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Matteo.
Thank you, Matteo. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Bye.